live.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Storytime with Scrappy and Friends. My name is ScrappyFan92 and I would like to apologize for our general absence for the past several weeks. Yeah, if you couldn't tell by my slightly more labored than usual breathing, I fell ill a while ago. I kind of just recovered maybe a week and a half ago. And other people have just been missing, so we've just been short-staffed. But not today. We have got 3 new cast members with us.
We're the replacements.
Yes.
Yo, The Replacements, my favorite football movie featuring Keanu Reeves.
Wait, with voice acting? I thought I was promised to be sacrificed to a god or something. I was lied to.
Later, don't worry about it.
I mean, I remember, I remember being in a call like when I was walking outside once, and everyone thought it sounded like I was summoning a demon or something.
So let's see, with us today, and I apologize in advance for butchering the pronunciation, but with us today are some friends Harry and Joey have brought on. I guess the first who entered the server was Cadian, a friend of Joey's who we've actually been trying to schedule for story time for several months now.
Yes.
Yeah, I apologize. I've been really busy because of college and going into uni and stuff.
You know, I miss college, but I don't miss it, so I understand. Also with us today are 2 friends Harry plucked off from off the street.
I do be from the streets though.
Yeah, how do you pronounce it? Pedriva?
Have fun trying to pronounce that. It's not intended to be pronounced out loud.
Yeah, I always just call you Ped. It's easier.
It's easier that way.
Pedriva.
Close enough, you know.
Pedriva. Yeah, I'm sorry. And also with us is Radaran or Radaran. Radoran.
Right on the first try.
I'm surprised. Yeah, isn't that a thing? Like people don't tend to pronounce it correctly.
I'll tend to pronounce it Radaran. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Radaran, like the distant cousin of the Pokemon Nidoran.
I was thinking
Yeah.
like the drunk uncle of a Radian, you know? Radaran. So, what are we doing?
Well, we are doing another. No, actually, we have a double feature today because I had nothing planned with the specific configuration of cast members that we wound up having. My
Yes.
apologies in advance. It's been fraught lately.
Yeah, we have like 6 stories ongoing.
Yeah, and the people who we need for them are not available.
Yeah.
So, yes, I remembered that Harry had recommended a Touhou project story from, like, last year that could be used as a stopgap. And that's what we're doing, and Harry was like, well, no, that's too short, you know, because it's not like we never drag anything out on this show. So, he's like, here's another Touhou story we can read.
Yes. This is
And I was like,
very last
Harry,
minute. Yes.
go on.
No, I was gonna say this is very last minute because I literally finished reading this story myself like last night.
Yeah, and I was like, Harry, half of us here have, like, booming basso profundo voices. We cannot. It's very difficult to do reading for some of these stories. Like, find something with men in it, please, next time.
I know what I like.
No Touhou
Sure ain't
project.
men.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that kind of just makes it sort of have a comedic element, having women that are all voiced by men.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's right. Like, these stories, I don't think these stories are comedic in nature, though. I'm trying to just do a reading. It's
I mean, if
difficult
you,
to...
I mean, I guess if I tried hard enough, I probably could find like a Ninja Turtle story, but I've never bothered to look for a fic in that franchise.
I'm afraid to see what's in that franchise. It's big.
I have no idea.
A lot of things that could possibly go wrong looking up for Ninja Turtles fics.
Probably.
So what are we starting with?
We are starting with pardon me. This is gonna. I can already feel this is gonna be a real fun time tonight.
Ooh, yeah.
We are starting with an episode. We are starting with a story on AO3. It's on AO3.
Yeah.
It's an anthology series called Gensokyo Chronicles Dream and Myriad Fantasies by an author named God Medallion. Much like one of the Puyo stories we read in 2020, I believe. Harry just apparently wanted to pluck a chapter from an anthology, so this is chapter 9 of a 46-chapter story. Seems like they're all just like cute little one-offs, so it's not much of an issue.
Yeah,
There's
pretty
another
much.
sample.
Oh, this is pretty short.
Yeah, this is why I suggested another story after this.
Yeah, I can definitely understand. I can get to the bottom in one scroll.
Yeah.
Alright, well... Yeah, I was telling our, at the time, one cast member present in the call that they could have first dibs for whoever character they want. Have first dibs for characters, but it seems like there's only literally just 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, like, I have 3 additional cast members with me, so... yeah, I don't know, I guess...
Finish each other's sentences.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Head came first, so you're Reimu.
Okay, cool. I guess I'm Reimu.
Raideran. Gosh darn it. Yes, Raideran, I got it right. Raideran can be Marisa. And Katie and I apologize, but you will have to sit this out until the second story, in which you will
unless you want to be out of a job this time and have him do the be the narrator.
I'm good sitting out.
Okay, fair enough.
Scrappy has a good narrator voice.
Fair enough.
Thank you. You will get to pick either or of the 2 ladies, because they're in both stories, for the second story. And I'm presuming... I haven't read either, because this was so last minute. Harry, how many characters are in the second story?
At least 5.
Okay, are there more than 2 characters in the second story?
Yeah, there's at least 5. I mentioned this in text earlier, but only 3 of them are, like, there for most of it, though.
Alright then, congratulations, Katie, and you have been granted all the ancillary roles of story number 2.
Oh boy.
Casting!
Yes.
On the spot.
Yep.
And
Perfect.
as always, I'm
Everything else on the show.
Yeah, and as always, I'm kind of just here to be the recording busboy.
You got
Next
the
time
type,
you-
you got the voice.
Next time you force a Touhou story on us, you're doing a voice.
You're reading
I'm
half
not-
of them
Oh.
Yes.
while recording.
And and to make it in the spirit of the bullet hell nature of Touhou Project, if you die while playing the game while reading, you have to start the story over.
Yep.
No!
This is your punishment.
Okay, I'll play like a game where you literally can't die. Okay, I'll play Epic Yarn then.
If you get hit, you have to start over.
Okay, that's just ridiculous.
You just need to make sure that you have some bombs on you. It's okay.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's a solved game.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright. And yeah, I guess while we have Red, Cadian just left briefly. He will be back, don't worry. Just to provide some context for those who do not know what Touhou Project is, I am not at all qualified to explain what it is, but it is a bullet hell series of indie games by a one Mr. Zune, created in like 1997. It is its name translates like roughly to like what, Eastern Fantasy?
Eastern Project.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. I just think, anime girl go boom boom against other anime girls who go boom boom.
One series that's all anime girls and no men.
Yeah, crazy.
So basically, it's about I would not call it the afterlife, but it's kind of a nexus of like humanity and demonkind just going through their daily struggles. The series' main protagonist is Reimu Hakare, a very lazy shrine maiden who likes alcohol. Yeah, she is she's the nominal hero of the series, not that she enjoys that status in any way. Her best frenemy is Marisa Kitasame, a witch, like not even like an Eastern witch. She's like just a standard fantasy witch.
Yep.
Zeh.
Yeah.
And yeah, together they fight crime.
The Wonder Twins. Reimu and Marissa.
Yes.
So, without further ado, this is God Medallions, Gensokyo Chronicles, Dream and Myriad Fantasies. That is the most Touhou name I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Chapter 9, A Place to Call Home. The sun was setting, and the winter winds were beginning to blow, and the other girl still hadn't left.
Marissa, you can't stay here overnight, you know.
Why not?
Reimu hesitated for a moment. Why couldn't Marisa stay? She wouldn't get in the way, and she helped with the chores, but...
Don't you have your own home to go back to? Don't say you don't, because it's not like you sleep here every night.
It's cold, though.
Complained Marisa.
I don't want to go. It's comfy here.
What if you don't show up? Is someone gonna go looking for you?
Marisa laughed. A surprisingly bitter laugh.
No one's gonna come looking for me. And I live all on my own, in a big house in the forest.
You're only 12, though. You can't live on your own.
You live on your own a lot of the time, and you're only a few months older than me.
That's different.
Replied Reimu.
I've got responsibilities. I'm a responsible person.
I can be responsible if I've gotta be.
Insisted Marisa.
Anyway, I want to stay here. It's comfy here.
You said that before, but it's not that comfy.
Said Reimu. The shrine was in a state of slight disrepair, with only her to look after it lately. So right now, it was probably about as cold inside as it was outside.
And it's certainly not that warm.
Because you're here, Reimu.
Declared Marisa cheerfully, and then she grinned.
I always feel warm when you're around, you know?
Is that so?
Replied Reimu, not sure what to say to that.
Well, you can stay here tonight then. Just don't make a regular thing of it.
She glanced at the small pile of food in the corner.
I suppose I should work out what to cook for dinner for two then.
The sun was setting, and the wind was blowing rust-colored leaves through the air around the shrine, and the other girl still hadn't left.
So what's your excuse gonna be this time? Can't be that you don't want to walk back, can't be that it's too cold, and it certainly can't be that you're afraid about running into yokai. Now that I know where your house is, you're not pulling that one on me again.
Marisa considered for a moment.
You owe me a meal?
She said after a moment. Reimu sighed.
Pretty sure I don't, but fine. You're buying me groceries next time you're down in the village then. You got it?
The magician seemed to be here all the time now, sleeping over at least 3 nights a week, if not more. And she always had some excuse for not wanting to go home. Reimu had wondered why, so had followed her home a while back to find her house very much lived in. A little cottage near the edge of the Forest of Magic, in better shape than her own shrine, and that she kept staying over at this dilapidated old building. Maybe she was just lonely. Reimu never really thought about people being lonely. She spent most of her life on her own, after all. That'd probably be it. There'd have to be easier places to visit than here, though. It's not like Marisa didn't have any other friends, though. She knew a few magicians in the forest, and was on easy terms with some humans in the village, as well as the guy from Corindo. She seemed to be happy to come here, though, so she didn't push it. Reimu would probably never admit it, but it was far nicer to have someone else to share the shrine with than to sleep alone, listening to what was hopefully the wind scratching at its walls. The sun was setting, and it was finally beginning to cool off after a day of intense summer heat. And the other girl still hadn't left,
If you want to head back, this is your chance.
remarked Reimu.
It's just cool enough for the trip back to not be unbearable.
I'll pass.
Replied Marisa.
The house has been locked up all day anyway, so it'd just be like walking back and trying to sleep inside an oven, you know?
Reimu nodded and sighed.
If you insist. But you've got to help me make dinner then.
Yes, yes.
The magician eagerly began to chop up vegetables. She was always a hard worker, but she seemed doubly so whenever she came over to the shrine, like she was somehow trying to pay Reimu back for letting her stay here all the time. It was ridiculous, of course. Reimu would let her stay here even if all she did was sit in the corner and tell jokes. But she wouldn't say no to the added help. With someone else around, she'd actually been able to start work on fixing up bits of the shrine she'd been putting off for months. After dinner, as they slept on 2 mattresses beside each other, Reimu remarked,
You can't spend all summer here, you know.
Why not?
mumbled Marisa, already half asleep. Reimu considered that.
I mean, you gotta go home eventually, right?
I am home.
After a moment, Marisa began snoring gently, leaving Reimu to stare at the ceiling until she too fell asleep. The sun was setting, and the last of the cherry blossoms was dancing through the air, and the other girl still hadn't arrived. It was unlike Marisa to be late. She'd probably been waylaid in the village, but Reimu hoped it wouldn't take too long. She was meant to be grabbing dinner after all. Finally, as the last of the sun's rays vanished behind the mountains, the magician emerged up the stairs and waved. She was carrying something huge, wrapped in newspaper under her other arm, and Reimu raised an eyebrow.
What have you got there?
Sanzu river fish.
Replied Marisa, grinning.
Got it for a real bargain, too.
Sanzu River... Well, whatever. Just so long as it tastes good.
The yokai I bought it from says it should taste pretty good, and it should keep for a while, too. So we can probably make it at least a week.
1 week of not having to wait for you to get back with something weird, huh?
Mused Reimu, and
I
she
could
smiled
probably-
back.
Right, I forgot about the part. I can probably live with that. Now, come on, I'm starved.
Hold your horses, I'm coming.
The magician ran towards the shrine and jumped inside, handing Reimu the fish as she took off her boots.
Oh, and Marissa?
Said Reimu as she placed the fish on the bench and began to unwrap it.
Yeah?
Welcome home.
And that is the end.
Clap, 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 clap.
Hooray!
Pachi, 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 pachi.
Pachi, pachi, pachi.
Yeah, I remember suggesting this little story because it's a nice simple storyline and I thought it was cute. So
Yeah. It's a nice and comforting story for sure.
yeah.
Made you wonder though.
Yeah, it was cute. I remember Harry had mentioned this when he had first posted the link last year. Yeah, I don't think Reimu and Marisa are 12, so I guess either the author made a
right.
typo or this is a prequel.
Right. I don't know.
It's fan fiction. They don't have canon ages.
Yeah.
True. Let's just not take
yeah.
that too extreme now.
True, true.
Unless you're cool with Reimu being 57 and Marissa being 6.
The characters have like official ages, don't they?
I think so.
Some of them do.
Hmm.
Are Reimu's parents even alive?
I don't think so.
We don't know who her parents could be.
I don't think they're ever addressed in canon.
No,
I could be
not as
wrong.
far as I know.
Yeah. So I mean every fic or whatever that mentions them tends to just say like they've long since passed. That's probably the likeliest outcome because they're just never around. So
Yeah, there's no mention of anyone else at the shrine.
yeah.
Well, I guess it's one of those recurrent mysteries.
Is it? I know like is it like a an actual thing in canon that like Marissa actually like ran away from home? Because I know that's something people do in like fan stuff a lot. I don't. Is that actually part of canon?
It might be. I mean, Marissa's dad is kind of well known to be not very amicable towards Marissa.
Mm.
So it is possible that she did run away.
Yeah.
Alright, does everyone have the second story up?
I hope you're ready for a mood whiplash because this is quite a bit darker.
Just look at the summary and it's already ridiculous.
Are you gonna?
Is the sequel? This is what happens the following day?
Yeah, these two stories are totally related.
Yeah, totally. Without a doubt.
How do we know which character's saying what?
Context clues, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
Let's see.
Oh god, Toucan's working his magic. There's so much French in this first part. I need to turn Toucan off.
If we
Toucan
do,
Project is my favorite video game.
if we do end up finishing the story today, I don't know if we will, but I do want you to read the author's note in the last chapter.
Let's not say we did instead. Okay, so I have food downstairs, so we need to make this quick.
Okay.
Today's story, the second story is called Astrophobia by Hungry Bookworm. And let's read that whiplash summary.
Yeah.
Gensokyo is battered by intense rain, and Reimu Hakare is struck by lightning while investigating the cause. Marissa watches her fall, powerless to save her, but help lies in an unexpected place.
I should point out, if you know Hungry Bookworm's like material, you should know that he or she likes to write really depressing stuff. So be wary of that.
Everything is backwards, huh?
Yes.
You set us up full of hope just to bring us down with despair. The diner and romp away.
I guess.
Despair.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry, you're banned from picking stories now.
Okay. Well, you just lost like where like what 80% of these fanfics come from. So
I can write my own. They will not be better, but at least they will not subject me to this whiplash.
I mean, what is it? We still need to make like a Seasbrain troll fic.
Yo, we already made a crack fic. No, we're not reading it.
I don't
Oh,
even.
sorry, what fic?
That sounds amazing, though.
Yeah, I don't even.
This is what the B team's for.
Oh god.
My question is, when are we gonna voice act the story that Joe's writing?
He already wrote it, and also no.
Oh, the book you two are doing?
Oh, that, I mean, I mean, we could do that, like, down the line, but
I feel
that
like...
won't be for a while.
Well, I feel like that'll be a bit counterproductive, though, because, like, wouldn't you guys want to, like, actually sell those books? Like, I feel like
we'd be selling the experience in this case.
Yeah, I feel like at most you guys should do, like, the first chapter, not the whole thing. Because otherwise, like, people will just not buy it.
Okay, so...
Yeah, well.
Astrophobia. This is Astrophobia Chapter 1. Lights. And that... Yeah, I don't know who's speaking to who for the first few lines.
Yeah.
The first line appears to be Ran, whoever Ran is, and then the second line is Yuki.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yukari.
Okay, it doesn't start with,
Yukari.
Reimu and Marissa.
Okay, I will be Yukari. Katie, and you can handle the other two characters Harry mentioned.
So, who are the other two?
I don't know.
Well, there's,
Ran and someone else.
There's Ran here, there's, Seinai that will show up later, and, I think there's Yeah, I think there's another character that shows up in Chapter 3 as well.
I don't know any of them, so...
Yeah, just... I don't know, make something up, have fun.
Can't wait to get struck by lightning.
We start on gosh darn it. We start on the Yakimo house. On a cold, clear night. March 24th, 2007, apparently.
I see, that's
Is
what.
that me? Or... I'm confused. Sorry.
Whoever's Ran would be speaking right now.
Good evening, Yukari-sama. We received residency application from a family of gods near Lake Suwa.
Good evening, Ran. Did we really need to do this right after I wake up?
Unfortunately, we have quite a lot to get through tonight. They wish to relocate their shrine to Gensokyo in order to gather more faith. The gods are named Kaneko Yusaka, Suwako, Moria, and...
You don't need my advice for residency applications. Remember what I said about non-human population numbers?
So I should write them an apology and tell them we aren't accepting new applications right now?
Correct. They cannot live in Gensokyo. Not for a few more decades, at least. There isn't enough room. Now bring me some tea.
As you wish.
1 year later, March 29th, 2008. The rain started suddenly on an overcast afternoon 3 days ago. Dark, foreboding clouds rolled across the sky, and the sound of rain tapping against the window woke Marissa up from her nap. And
Yes.
outside, the
Yes,
anchor closed off the wing line.
Scrappy, you kind of died for a second.
Yeah, you died right
I was
after saying
worried that was
afternoon
me
nap.
for a second.
Return. Where?
You died right after you said afternoon nap.
Marissa woke up from her afternoon nap.
Yeah.
The window woke Marissa up from her afternoon nap. She'd scrambled out of bed and sprinted outside to yank her clothes off the washing line. The rain was heavy, a gray curtain that sent a shiver through the forest. It was still too chilly for storms. She assumed it wouldn't last long. But the rain kept going. It fell and fell from sunrise till sunset, and all the way to the night. Days passed. Rivers burst their banks, the misty lake filled to the brim, and water-loving yokai celebrated across Gensokyo. People began moving furniture upstairs in the human village. The forest of magic turned into a swamp, the thick smell of mud and wet vegetation adding to the humidity. Even the driest dirt paths stuck to Maris's boots like gloopy natto. I don't know what that is.
Fermented soybeans.
Ah! Heavy rain was an unusual... I'm sorry. Heavy game by David Cage was an unusual in Gensokyo, but intense rain in this season was a rarity.
Thank you for that, Scrappy.
The water got everywhere, through the tiniest cracks and the thinnest gaps, creating skinny streams that trickled through the ceiling. Marisa had given up staying dry long before her house flooded. It happened while she was out, checking on the village. She stopped by the Hakurei shrine on the way back, and found Reimu splashing through a waterlogged main room, carrying buckets under both arms and cursing under her breath. Marisa slipped away unnoticed, not in the mood to help. Reimu was fine, that's all that mattered. When she arrived home, her living room was flooded up to her knees. Piles of junk stuck out here and there like little islands, and the note she'd worked on that morning floated on the surface like the white leaves. There were no holes in the ceiling. The water had almost appeared like magic.
Just to clarify, I'm still Marissa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
You've got to be kidding me!
Marisa yelled as she tossed her broom aside and waded through the room. She tried to scoop up her notes, but the pages fell apart in her hands. The pages that stayed intact were illegible, the ink running and blotting like watercolor paint. A magician's worst nightmare. She told herself not to panic. It was just a week's worth of notes. Doing them wouldn't be too much hassle, as long as her grimoires were safe. Except, weren't her grimoires stored in the trunk near her desk? Crap. Marisa dashed through the water, feeling it slosh through her boots like blood being pumped around her heart. Colorful. Marisa's grimoires held years worth of research and observations. They were invaluable. Losing them would set her career back several years at best. She reached her desk, and just as she feared, the trunk underneath it was totally submerged. Opening it to check the damage wasn't even an option. That would allow even more water to gush in. Marisa knew it wasn't airtight.
No.
The sky darkened outside. The wind blew, driving the rain against the side of the house. Marisa trembled, clenching her fist. She turned around and waded out of the house. She snatched up her broom on the way out, and emptied her boots as soon as she was outside. There we go. The spell cards and mini Hakuro were in the inside pocket of her waterproof coat, safe from harm. But if she was going to beat up whichever moron decided to make it rain for days on end, they were going to get wet too. It wasn't an incident now. It was an incident now. The first one in years. She was going to rip apart whoever wrecked her house. And, yeah, I guess I should clarify. Yeah, I think Touhou uses the term incident to kind of refer to, like, demon incursions every once in a while. Is that correct, Harry?
Basically, it basically just means, like, something's going wrong in Gensokyo, and it needs to be, stopped, more or less.
Something has gone wrong in a happy-go-lucky world of Gensokyo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a incident can mean a lot of things, but, yeah.
Like,
Basically,
yeah, Reimu stubbed her toe. It's an incident.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Toe stubbing incident. Touhou 19.
Yes.
A long time ago, back when Marisa was still learning how to fly, her teacher made her read a book on thunderstorms. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Who's Mima?
Who's gonna
I guess
be
that'll
Mima?
be me, I guess.
I should just say this, like, yeah, a incident is basically, if something in Gensokyo is not how it should be, that's basically what an incident is, more or less.
And Marisa dubbed it. She dyed her hair. It's an incident now.
EODD? Touhou 3, anyone?
So, now Marisa, Mima had said, taking the book from her and opening a random page. I'm like, her name's something Mima, so she's old now. You're flying several hundred meters up in the air, surrounded by forest. What do you do if you see a thunderstorm up ahead? Marisa couldn't remember how she answered, but it was incorrect, because Mima made her do 50 sit-ups as punishment. She knew now, though, that if you see a thunderstorm, you get out of the sky immediately and seek shelter. Ideally, you turn in the opposite direction of the storm and get indoors as fast as possible. But if that's not possible, you land and start running, because you're more likely to get hit in the air. Magical storms are fine, of course. Magical lightning counted as a form of Danmaku and was essentially non-lethal. But real lightning was dangerous to humans. Most yokai could survive a good zap, but if someone like Marisa got struck, that would be it. Marisa remembered his advice as she heard the first rumble of thunder. She was halfway up Yokai Mountain, the cold rain and wind tearing at her face. Her hat had long blown away, and her hair was a ragged mess. The glittering lights of a Danmaku fight were fading away up ahead, barely visible in the howling rain. ReiMari was already ahead of her, aiming to solve the incident first. The culprit had flooded her. The culprit had flooded her shine.
Take your time.
They flooded her shine sprite. Oh no.
I was thinking it, and I didn't want to say it.
No,
The
boys, don't
culprit
touch
had
that stuff.
flooded.
I'm sorry.
But
What?
the pollution is not to blame.
No, I'm just being stupid.
The culprit had
Mari's
flooded.
fault.
Yes. The culprit had flooded her shrine, so she was undoubtedly just as angry as Marisa. Unfortunately for her, the magician was catching up fast, having avoided several fights earlier and taken a shortcut through Genbu Ravine. Soon the pair of them would be neck and neck, racing to the top of the mountain. The storm clouds were thickest at the peak. That was obviously where the troublemaker lay in wait. As far as Marisa was aware, nothing lived that far up Yokai Mountain. So there was plenty of time and space for someone, or something, to concoct a fiendish plot. A textbook incident. Marisa was looking forward to smacking a nice... Goodness gracious. Marisa was looking forward to smacking a nice weighty Danmaku bullets into the villain's stomach. She gripped the handle of her broom and leapt forward, I think. Leaned? Is that... That's a new word. I'm learning some new things.
Yeah, we're rolling with it. Just like the thunder.
There we go. There was a second roll of thunder, louder this time. Marisa felt it. Goosebumps shuddered over her skin. She pulled her broom to a stop and hovered in place. Her brain was numb with cold. There was another rumble of thunder, and this time, a flash of lightning within the clouds. It lit up the whole landscape. She saw ReiMari up ahead. Fight over, still moving forward, ignoring the storm completely. And yeah, I hope all of you are reading along, because there's a nice picture of ReiMari just
looking
floating in
kinda
the
cool.
sky.
Yeah, she's kind of floating.
Yeah. Too bad we know what's gonna happen next.
What a shame.
What a shame.
Was she insane?
I could
Marisa considered-
have the image on the stream for a minute. Let me just get that. You can keep reading, just I need to get it thing up.
I could keep reading.
Yeah.
Good
I'm
doing the
trying.
operating word.
Yeah. Was she insane? Marisa considered rushing over and yelling at her, even if it sparked a Danmaku battle. But a few seconds later, she realized ReiMari's logic. The storm was real, but unnatural. Whoever was responsible for it wouldn't direct lightning towards them. Not if they were playing by the rules. Another flash. Okay. Another flash. The thunder was deafening this time, as though the sky itself had split in two. ReiMari was lit up again, and for a split second, Marisa saw her in perfect detail. Her clothes were soaked and weighing her down. Her ribbon was askew. Her skin glimmered with a thick layer of water, and a strand of dark hair was stuck to her forehead. She held a purification rod in her left hand, and there were now 3 long needles in her right. Of course, Ofuda were useless in this weather. If ReiMu was continuing, Marisa would too. Goodness gracious, she leapt forward and directed her broom to the right, hoping to avoid ReiMu's notice if she could help it. If the two of them made eye contact, they would fight. Marisa would lose, and then all her time and effort flying through the rain would have been for nothing. She glanced over the flickering landscape, trying to spot a less obvious route to the mountain peak. She wondered if keeping up with ReiMu would be harder in the future, now that all her research was ruined. Maybe this was her only chance to solve an incident first, for a while. The thought made her sick with anxiety. Mima's face flashed through her mind for a moment. And then, it happened. There was a blaze of white light, and a roll of thunder so deep it hurt. The hair on Marisa's arm stood up. She felt herself yell, but couldn't hear anything. Searing heat splashed against her left side. And moments later, darkness again. The heat disappeared, replaced with biting cold. Marisa's eyes couldn't adjust fast enough. Her ears rang. The rain constantly pounding against her was the only thing grounding her to reality. And in the corner of her eye, she glimpsed a flicker of red and white falling out of the sky.
ReiMu!
Marisa skidded to a stop, mud smearing over her legs.
Hey!
She had landed in a small forest clearing, the trees resembling a wall of rock in the darkness. There, floating in a small pool of water right in front of her, lay ReiMu Hakare, face down and motionless.
Don't even get to speak.
Her weapons were nowhere in sight. Marisa felt cold terror rush through her. She tossed her broom aside and sprinted, trying not to panic. This was ReiMu, she told herself, the amazing shrine maiden of paradise. She could defy gravity itself. She'd probably get up all by herself at any moment, right?
ReiMu!
ReiMu didn't respond. Marisa plunged into the pool and found the ice-cold water, went up to her bare thighs.
Come on, stop messing around and get up!
She waded over and grasped ReiMu by the shoulders. One was red hot, where the skin had blistered. She could tell, now that she was up close, just how bad things were. ReiMu's clothes were singed, and the cloth around her right shoulder was burnt black. There was a small, gruesome-looking wound on her right shoulder that reminded Marisa of a cigarette burn.
ReiMu?
She grabbed her and flipped her over, onto her back. ReiMu's eyes were half closed, her mouth slightly open. Water dripped from her lips. ReiMu had been struck by lightning. There was no doubt about it. Panic overtook Marisa. She stood there, frozen in terror, knees shaking, her mind racing, heart beating so fast she thought she might faint. She had to do something. Something. Anything. What? The rain made the pool's surface foam and ripple. She had to get ReiMu out of the water first. Marisa wrapped both arms around her and began dragging her out of the pool onto the mud. This had to be a joke of some kind. Hadn't it? Maybe a bad dream. Nothing felt real. Once she was out of the puddle, Marisa knelt down next to her and hovered a hand over ReiMu's face. No breath. She pressed 2 fingers against her neck, trying to find a pulse. Nothing. The mud left ugly marks on her skin. It looked like blood in the darkness. Yes, this was a joke. A disgusting joke. Marisa almost wanted to laugh. She put her head against ReiMu's chest, trying to hear her heart and lungs. Nothing. Only the sound of infinite raindrops hitting the leaves around them, and the occasional roar of thunder overhead.
Come on, Reimu.
Marisa could barely speak.
You're not allowed to die, remember? That's why we have the spell card rules and stuff.
No response. Marisa shook her.
You can't call yourself the best in Gensokyo if you die to something this stupid. Come on.
Still nothing.
Seriously, this is a really sick joke. Get up and go beat the crap out of that guy. This isn't funny.
She was having trouble breathing. Something wet and heavy was clogging her lungs.
I'll do it myself if you don't. I'll beat you to it for once. Just watch.
But she knew she wouldn't. She'd lost the will to fight.
Reimu.
She knelt there, feeling the rain seep through the stitches in her waterproof coat. The cold water washed over her skin and numbed her joints, her limbs, her mind, her heart. The only warmth came from the hot water dripping down her cheeks and through her nose. She reached out and touched Reimu's cheek with a knuckle. It was cold too. She didn't have to worry about Reimu beating her anymore. The last Hakure Shrine Maiden of Gensokyo had passed away, and Marisa was alone in the world.
Well, okay. Let's
That
go
was the
me,
thing.
not have to read a single thing. Let's go.
How about that mood whiplash, eh?
Screw you, Harry.
Oh man.
Should have made like zip-zap noises in the background when I was getting struck by lightning. That should
A
have
big
been what I
loud,
did.
a big crack. Just
Boom. Yeah.
I was thinking more along the lines of Pikachu's down special, but I'm a piece of trash.
Just screaming Pika in the background.
Someone uses the
Hey,
what, I don't even know what it's called, but the lightning wisp in Lost World.
starts with an M. No, it's Ivory Lightning.
Oh yeah, that.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Lightning. So yeah, that was a journey. It was very entertaining, not having to say anything for that second one.
Mm.
Pretty wild.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
got to sit
I didn't.
back and pretend to be dead the entire time. It was great.
You were only dead at the end.
Yeah, well, I still didn't say anything in the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know Reimu was going to be dead. Thanks.
Yeah, I told you it was gonna be depressing.
Yeah, I didn't think she'd die in the first chapter, though.
Like, I scrolled down, I saw Reimu a bunch, I was like, okay, she would say something here. No, it's the other way around.
She's gotta say something.
She's gotta say something.
Yeah.
Then I see Reimu didn't respond, I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, that was a good old journey. How you doing in that there, Kirby game there?
The Cub boys.
Yeah,
It's,
the Kirby and alright. Ooh,
it's-
look at them go.
It's definitely going. It's
Yeah.
quite a contrast to what we're reading right now, but
Oh, without a doubt.
yeah.
I think Kirby needs to get struck by lightning right now. See what you got some lightning right there? Go find Kirby.
Yeah.
Lightning can't kill Kirby.
Nothing can kill Kirby. Kirby's omnipresent.
Clobber that there Cub.
Power.
Look at that. You see this? We're reenacting what happened in the story right now. You see? Floating around, striking with lightning.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
exactly Touhou.
Yeah,
Actually, for
exactly what we were reading.
just for the hell of it, you guys try and imitate the DDD 4Kids laugh.
I've never actually heard that
I
laugh.
haven't seen Right Back At You in years.
Xavier does it like perfectly.
Him sounded like.
I gotta look this up now.
Okay, well,
Are you
I
guys?
enjoy getting my heart ripped out, I guess.
I feel like you guys. I feel like we should at least read chapter 2 so it doesn't end so much on a note like this.
Yeah. How much is left?
Just delay me from my food supply, don't you?
Oh yeah, you can starve. It's all good. You know,
I mean, do you need?
Gandhi
yeah.
didn't eat food for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Look at how long he lived. You're good.
How long do you think you can go on?
See, if we read chapter 2, we gotta read chapter 3, so that's like another hour. I don't know.
Chapter 2 looks like it's a little long.
It has more dialogue. So I don't know if it would necessarily be longer, but it definitely has more talking in general.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys want to do?
I'm good for anything. It's all up to you guys.
Yeah, I can do anything really.
Gosh, it's nice having cast members who are actually amenable to things.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Scrappy has the final say, I guess.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be honest, I'm down to do chapter 2.
Yeah. So am I. It's just as you said, it's all up to the big man himself.
Yep.
What's the answer, bud? We going? We not?
Just looking for the chapter right now.
Okay.
We can do chapter 2, but I'm not doing chapter 3 tonight. It's
Okay.
too long.
All right.
That's fine. We can organize
Which means
another.
I'm going to harass you for the next 2 months to try and get this back in session. Because that's how we roll apparently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll be back next week. Not.
Probably not. We never are.
And I guess I'll be taking over the parts that what was his name again?
Cadian.
Yeah, the Cadian isn't doing.
Yes, Cadian had to leave again, and I
Oh.
don't think he'll be coming back.
Okay.
I mean, he said
So-
there was something that he needed to be out for.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So I already forget who voices who.
Yeah, who was our Ran?
Cadian was ran, so I guess I'll start. Or whenever we start talking, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Astrophobia, Chapter 2, Thunder. The Yakumo House on a cold, clear night, March 24th, 2007.
Good evening, Yukari-sama. We received a residency application from a family of gods near Lake Suwa.
Give it to me.
Of course, here.
Memorious shrine, I see. 3 gods. One of which is an Arahitogami, specializing in miracles.
Is something the matter?
Approve the application. We're letting them in.
What? But, Yukari-sama, last week you said we couldn't afford to let the non-human population increase.
There is still room for gods. They can relocate their shrine near the peak of Yokai Mountain.
That'll infuriate the yokai sages, and the Hakure Shrine already gets very little faith as is. Another shrine would only deplete it further.
I believe a rival is exactly what ReiMari needs. And I will deal with the politics, rest assured. The Tengu and Kappa need a bit of excitement in their lives. Perhaps this will finally spark a new incident, and in the process, well, we will have to see how effective it is in preventing disaster.
What do you mean?
You'll find out in a year. Now bring me some tea. We have a lot to discuss tonight.
As you wish.
1 year later.
Can I just say real quick? This is supposed to be a week later, but it's the same date.
Oof.
Wait, hold on. 2007.
March 24th, 2007.
Yeah. 1 year later. March 29th, 2008.
At least they got figured out in the second chapter. We just
I mean-
ignore it in the first chapter.
I mean, the lightning strike is in 2008. but this flashback with Ran and Yukari is in 2007.
Yeah.
Chapter 1's takes place on March 24th.
Yep.
Chapter 2 says a week has passed, but it's still March 24th, 2007.
Oh, was that? I guess there was a writer mishap.
Wait, I'm trying to see. Yaku.
It says
Chapter
Yukari's
1
on the
starts.
last week.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. It's just a little whoopsie. We'll ignore it.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, we definitely didn't ignore it. We talked about it a bit too much, but we'll pretend we ignored it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fanfiction
wow.
Quirks.
Yeah.
Huh.
Fanfiction
then.
quirks.
Okay, so 1 year later, March 29th, 2008. Someone was shouting in the Hakurei Shrine's main room.
I guess I'll do this one. Who else could be responsible for this? There's a god of wind and rain enshrined at your place. I guess I'll do Sanaya as well. I'm telling you that Kaneko-sama isn't at fault.
Sanai was covering her head, shouting over the clatter of water pouring into buckets. The Hakurei Shrine's roof wasn't just leaking, it was gushing.
We've received nothing but goodwill since arriving at Gensokyo. We have no reason to curse anyone.
Martha stood on the porch outside, her back to the shoji screen. She had decided to drop by the Hakurei Shrine on her way back from the village, to make sure Reimu hadn't been swept away by a freak tsunami or anything, but Sanai Kochiya had beaten her to it.
Not sure who's reading this part.
I think that is whoever's talking to Sanai.
Okay. And why should I believe that when you tried to take over my shrine last year? So that was a misunderstanding.
This is Reimu.
Wait, I thought
Well, now
Reimu.
it's Marissa.
No, this is Reimu.
No, I know, but like I just read that was a misunderstanding, so now it's your turn.
Oh. Come on, give it a rest.
Marissa slid the screen open and stepped inside. The tatami squelched under her socks.
You're giving me a headache.
Reimu glared at her. Her hair was sopping wet, and the ribbon slipping down the back of her head.
Our shrine's behind all this rain, I'm sure of it. We're not.
Sanai yelled.
We're just as frustrated as you are. Can't your god make it stop then? If they've got so much faith? It's not that easy.
Reimu was a pain to deal with when she got like this.
Just go up to Yogai Mountain and beat her up anyway.
Said Marissa.
Isn't that what you always do?
I'm not flying up the Yokai Mountain in this weather. Who's this? Okay. I came all the way down here in this weather and I'm going back up again once you let me leave.
It cut out, like I couldn't hear like the first half.
I came all the way down here in this weather and I'm going back up again once you let me leave.
Sanai sounded close to tears.
You're more than welcome to come with me and discuss the matter further with us. Me again, oh my god. Alright.
I will take over for Sanai.
Yeah, that would make things so much easier.
Reimu waved her hand dismissively. She was fed up with the argument.
I'll believe you for now, but if your gods are behind this, I won't let you off easily.
I'm glad you understand, Sanai snapped. She turned around. I'll be taking my leave now,
What was that about?
Marissa asked after she left. Reimu looked guilty, now that Sanai was gone. Guilty and tired.
Just doing my job. It would have been more fun with Damaku.
Obviously.
Marissa grinned.
Too wimpy to fight in the rain.
Reimu glared at her again.
You're conserving my energy. Anyway,
She looked at the ceiling.
since you're here, come in with the leaks. They're getting out of hand.
What? Seriously?
Crap. She'd stuck around too long.
Actually, I kinda need to go.
No, you don't. Come on.
They ran out of buckets in moments. ReiMu spent 10 minutes or so rearranging them, trying to get a few to cover more than one torrent of water. Eventually, she sighed, finally giving up.
The whole room's gonna go moldy, you know.
Said Marisa, sitting on a chest of drawers.
Don't remind me.
ReiMu stepped gingerly through the room, then sat down next to her. She stank of wet cloth and tatami reeds.
What are you doing here anyway? It's not like you come over in bad weather. Not like you
Checking
two
on
come over.
I was checking on the village, making sure it wasn't the new Misty Lake. Got any tea?
No, the water got into my larder.
ReiMu sighed.
I really will fly up Yokai Mountain if it gets any worse than this.
So it's not an incident yet.
It might be.
ReiMu looked around the main room again, grimacing. Marisa shuffled around a little, trying to get comfier on the hard wooden surface. Her hand brushed ReiMu's. Her skin felt cold and clammy, and Marisa snatched her hand away immediately, embarrassed.
It might stop tomorrow.
Marisa said, hoping ReiMu hadn't noticed. If she had, she didn't let it show.
That would be nice.
My house hasn't flooded yet. Okay, yeah. My house hasn't flooded yet, and the village is still intact, so it's not that bad.
Well, you can't stay here if it does.
ReiMu gestured to the buckets with her foot.
I don't even know where I'm sleeping tonight.
What about that storeroom?
Marisa could vaguely remember a large building somewhere in the shrine grounds.
That's waterlogged too. The only room not leaking right now is the sanctuary, where the god lives.
ReiMu closed her eyes and groaned.
A new shrine has to be involved somehow.
Why's that?
Marisa raised her eyebrows.
Intuition?
ReiMu shrugged.
Think about the mountains bothering me.
Those words stayed with Marisa as she flew back home. Indeed, the clouds looked thicker around Yokai Mountain, curling around it like a whirlpool. It was worth taking a look later, she decided, after she got home and changed clothes. But instead, she found her house knee-deep in water, and her possessions ruined. She had no other option now. She had to solve the incident before ReiMu, even if it meant punching Sanai Kochiya in the face herself. But of course, things didn't work out that way. Nothing ever happens the way you expect in Gensokyo. Every day brings the potential for new and exciting surprises. Some happy, some sad, and some downright bizarre. And some that strike out of nowhere, like a bolt from the blue. We cut the present day. Marisa shoved her broom downwards and free-falled. Cold rain tore at her face like hail, and the storm continued to crash overhead. Yokai Mountain towered behind her, nightmarish in the flickering lights. ReiMu had been struck by lightning, right in front of her. In that one tiny moment, an otherwise tame incident had become a complete nightmare. Marisa forgot about the rain, and forgot about the villain waiting at the top of the mountain. All she could think about was the blinding flash of light, the flicker of red and white cloth, the unreality of it all.
ReiMu!
Marisa braked hard. The ground swooped under her, and she was thrown off her broom, tumbling head over heels through mud and rainwater. Finally, she landed in a large puddle, and the world above her spun and spun. She couldn't stay there. Her muscles were painfully numb, and her head pounded, but she had to get up.
ReiMu!
She staggered to her feet. The water seeped in beneath her waterproof jacket, into her clothes, weighing her down.
ReiMu!
She noticed Sanai standing 100 meters away, staring down at something on the ground. She was wearing the same waterproof coat as before, and her hands were covering her mouth. Marisa felt another kick of terror and broke into a run.
Sanae, hey!
Sanae didn't turn around. Marisa stumbled to her side and finally became aware of the thing on the ground. It was ReiMu, lying face down in a pool of water, motionless. Her top was burnt black around her right shoulder, and the skin underneath red and blistered. Marisa's breath caught in her mouth, and for a moment she thought she would suffocate.
I guess I'll go back to being Sanai then.
If you want.
Yeah, since Rain was dead again. I didn't.
Sanai's voice was barely a whisper.
I swear, we didn't. I swear.
That much was obvious. Marisa lunged forward into the water.
Don't just stand there.
She yelled.
Help me get her out of there. Hey, ReiMu, can you hear me?
Sanai didn't move. Even when Marisa had ReiMu out of the water and lying on her back, Sanai stayed frozen to the spot. Marisa ignored her and focused on trying to stay calm. ReiMu was probably just knocked out or something. It wasn't anything serious. They were overreacting.
Can you hear me, ReiMu? Hello? Anyone in there?
She tapped her cheek. ReiMu's skin was slimy from the rain, and her eyelids weren't completely closed.
Wakey, wakey.
That snapped Sanai out of her stupor.
Wait,
She dashed over.
let me check.
You see what happened? Did she get hit?
I think so.
Sanai was visibly shaking as she reached out and checked ReiMu's neck for a pulse. Her eyes widened.
She's dead.
No. No way.
Don't give me that crap.
Marisa pushed her aside and felt ReiMu's neck herself. No pulse. She hovered a hand over ReiMu's face. No breath.
It's gonna take more than a stupid lightning bolt to kill ReiMu. She's ReiMu. She can dodge anything.
Marisa-san.
I've seen her dodge over 100 bullets in less than 10 seconds. She can teleport and everything. The real deal. Come on, ReiMu, get up.
Marisa-san,
Sanai gripped her shoulder.
let me handle this.
Marisa looked up at her.
What do you mean?
Sanai took a long, shaky breath.
I'm going to save Reimu-san.
She knelt down beside her, tipped her head back, then placed both hands over ReiMu's heart, one on top of the other.
Listen, okay? What I'm going to do will look really strange, but don't interrupt me.
She began pushing down on ReiMu's chest, again and again in a pumping motion.
Whatever you do not interrupt me.
What about me? What can I do?
Marisa thought of all the spells she'd learned over the years. Surely one of them could help. But all that came to mind was Mima shaking her head and telling her to try again. All those years of studying, and she hadn't learned anything that mattered.
Do you know CPR?
What's that?
What I'm trying to do, okay.
Sanai stopped pumping, placed a hand on ReiMu's forehead, and suddenly kissed her.
Hey!
But it wasn't a kiss. Marisa could see ReiMu's chest rising. Was Sanai breathing into her mouth?
What are you doing?
Trying to bring her back to life.
Sanai returned to pumping.
I'm trying to kickstart her heart and lungs. I don't know if you have another name for it here, but it's vital first aid in the outside world.
Outside world magic?
No, anyone can do it. It's science.
So it was outside world magic. Of all the things. Marisa had read countless books about it, wasted hundreds of hours trying to get her head around the theories and formulas, but all it did was give her a headache. She'd put outside world magic aside in favor of something more familiar, something easier. And now she was paying the price for it. All she could do was stand there, bombarded by rain as someone else tried to revive the most important person in Marisa's life. The realization sunk through her. ReiMu was dead. Reimu was dead,
The Hakure God isn't responding to me.
said Sanai suddenly. Marisa had no idea she was trying to communicate with it.
Okay, plan B, Marisa-san. This is going to sound really strange, but I need you to get on your hands and knees and worship me.
What?
Please, just do it. I can do this if you give me faith.
Sanai leaned forward again and breathed into Reimu's mouth. Thunder rumbled overhead again, deafeningly loud. Marisa hesitated. Her gut instinct was to refuse. Things were already humiliating enough, but there wasn't time to argue. Trembling, she bowed, clapped her hands twice, then knelt down and pressed her forehead into the mud. Cold, gloopy liquid oozed between her fingers. Marisa had never felt so pathetic in all her life. The rain stung the back of her neck. Her nose was blocked with warm water, and her breath came out in sharp gasps. All she could do was pray. Her lips moved wordlessly. Her tongue tasted salt.
Please, save Reimu. Because I can't. I can't save her. I can't do anything. Please, save Reimu because...
She heard Sanai whisper something.
Because I can't beat Reimu. I can't be there for her when she needs me. I can't do anything. I'm completely useless.
The force shook.
What was the point of everything? What was the point in becoming a magician? I wanted to be the girl saving the day for once. Just once. I wanted Reimu to look at me and feel angry.
The rain, the trees, the thunder, Sanai's voice. Marisa couldn't tell them apart anymore. They had all merged together in a vortex of sound.
This is Marisa, by the way.
Hello?
This is Marisa.
I worked my...
Okay, I get it. You back?
Okay, I don't know. So, that was definitely me.
Okay. Well,
did-
we're on
did
your
I-
part.
Okay, so it cut off. But where?
I worked my arse off.
After they'd all merged together in a vortex of sound.
Oh, next line. Next line. Okay. Okay, so I got through. I worked my arse off to make her look at me. But what good was all that? It rained a bit and years worth of work got ruined. Like it wasn't worth anything in the first place. It gets a bit stormy and the girl I've been staring at all my life dies right in front of me. If this doesn't work, if Sanae can't bring her back to life, then I'll accept it. I'll accept that I'm useless and go back to the village. I'll stop being an ordinary magician and be an ordinary human instead. So please, please save Reimu. Please. She's everything I live for.
And then, a miracle occurred. Sanai shrieked, and suddenly someone was hacking and wheezing. Marisa bolted upright and saw Reimu sitting up, leaning against Sanai as her body lurched with each cough. Water was pouring out of her mouth.
Reimu!
She could scarcely believe it. A part of her was terrified it wasn't real. She sprinted over.
Reimu, are you okay? Can you understand me?
Give her a moment.
Sanai held an arm out, shielding Reimu from her. Marisa stumbled and watched as Sanai leaned closer, tenderly wrapping both arms around Reimu. Of course, Sanai had saved her. She had every right to be the one comforting her.
Reimu-san,
Her voice shook.
it's alright. You're back with us now.
Reimu glanced up at Sanai. Sanai looked down at her and smiled. Marisa bit back a sob. She was alive. Reimu was alive. Everything was going to be alright. Reimu tried to talk, but her voice gave way to another violent coughing fit. Sanai touched her head, trying to soothe her. Above them, the sky flashed again, immediately followed by a loud rumble of thunder. And hello, Joey. Thank you for showing up an hour late.
What the hell, dude? Why'd you do this?
Lame work.
What?
Lame work.
Why?
TLDR shit's fucked. All I can really do is sit in for a little while. If you need me to cover something by the time I get home, I'm going to be muted and just listening. But hi, I'm here.
This is
Hello.
a running gag at this point. Joey just kind of shows up, like when things are like already going on.
Yeah, you know, I've actually been doing that at work as well. I've just been showing up. I'm not even scheduled and pulling shit out of my ass.
Hey, that's the grind right there. I respect it.
Yeah, and I'm getting
Joey's
paid
happy
for it.
about that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, folks. It's just I have the attention span of a gnat, so anything that throws me off will throw me off. So
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know the exact line we were at.
immediately followed by a loud rumble of thunder. I guess above them, the sky flashed again, immediately followed by a loud rumble of thunder.
Thunder!
That's right. Yes, that's right. They weren't safe yet. Marisa had forgotten about the situation amongst all the drama. The lightning could still hit them. Force wasn't much better than flying in midair. And everything was covered with one of the best conductors on the planet. Water.
We need to get indoors.
Said Marisa. She had to steady herself. The crisis was averted. Now she had to finish her job. She wasn't ReiMu's savior. She had no right to linger.
Sana, you take ReiMu to the Moria Shrine. I'll deal with the culprit.
She turned around, intending to fetch her broom and leave as quickly as she could.
Marissa?
ReiMu was speaking.
Marissa?
Marisa stopped and looked over her shoulder. ReiMu was reaching out to her with a shaky hand.
Mari.
Thank you. ReiMu had another coughing fit and hunched over.
Marissa?
That did it. Marisa's resolve crumbled, and she rushed over. Sanai was forced to step back as she wrapped an arm around ReiMu's shoulders. She had to attack the injury, holding her close.
Don't do that again, you idiot! Don't you dare!
ReiMu clung to the front of her waterproof jacket and cried. Marisa felt tears mix with the raindrops on her cheeks again.
You're making me cry too. Stop it.
She rested her head on ReiMu's, full of love.
You're not going anywhere now. You're staying with me, got it?
I'll go after the culprit then.
Said Sanai, standing up. She gave a lopsided smile.
We did it.
Yeah.
Try and find a tiny village if you can. It's closer than our shrine, and you're still not safe here. Lightning can hit you through a ground current, and there's water everywhere. I don't know who's behind this, but they might go after ReiMu-san again.
I
Hello.
won't let them.
Marisa held ReiMu closer, never wanting to let go.
You can count on me.
Sanai nodded. She looked tired, and her face was red with tears in the cold.
I'll be back soon.
You won't get struck either, will you?
My gods will protect me,
Sanai glanced at ReiMu.
unlike hers.
Screw you!
Unlike... Wait, what do you...
But Sanai was already in the air. The wind carried Marisa's voice away.
Hey, wait!
Marissa,
She felt ReiMu tighten her grip.
don't leave me.
I won't. Never.
Marisa sank back down again. They had to get moving towards the Tengu village, but how? The storm seemed worse than ever. If they flew, and the culprit really did have it in for ReiMu, then they would have, then there was nothing protecting her from being struck again. And this time, Marisa would go down with her. Moving through the forest would be slightly safer, but still dangerous. Lightning moved along the ground, so if a nearby tree was struck, they could still get electrocuted. And Marisa wasn't sure if she should even move ReiMu. She was alive, but her nervous system could be wrecked, and she'd been dead for several minutes. She could be brain damaged in some way.
Hey, ReiMu,
Marisa tried asking her.
are you in any pain or anything?
ReiMu didn't reply. Marisa shivered. For the first time in hours, she realized just how cold it was. And ReiMu felt even colder. Her body temperature was low.
Are you cold?
ReiMu managed to speak.
No.
Marisa couldn't tell if that was a bad thing or not. But the thought of, but the thought of losing ReiMu again, after everything they'd just gone through, spurred her into action.
Look, we can't stay here. You'll catch hypothermia or something. We need to get to the Tengu village. We can shelter there.
Marisa tried to get up, but ReiMu held her down.
Come on, we need to move.
I can't feel anything.
I'll carry you. We'll fly between the trees.
Where's my god?
What?
We can worry about that later. Come on.
Marisa felt a blast of hot air hit her back. She turned and saw one of Yukari Yakumo's gaps open behind her. What is a gap?
It's a portal. Think of it as a
funny name.
portal.
Okay.
Yo, dog, let me just walk into my gap real quick.
I hope you're talking about the store.
As you wish.
Yukari go
Yeah, she
to
owns
teleport
she owns the
anywhere.
store.
To teleport anywhere, Yukari has to go through a gap
She has
first.
to open up a gap.
The only way out is through the perfume department.
Yeah.
The perfume department. Oh wait, no, it's a SpongeBob, not Patrick line.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't remember. I remember the scene, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
the set.
SpongeBob
Yeah,
said it.
Okay.
Alright. She turned and saw one of Yukari's portals open behind her. A gloved hand reached out and beckoned to them. Transition. The next morning, the rain stopped. And that is the end of chapter 2.
To be continued in like 5 months, probably. Knowing us.
Yeah, I'll see y'all in
Soon.
October.
Soon.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you all are free, I would be fine reading this tomorrow, but...
Yeah, I'm available tomorrow.
I'm actually free tomorrow.
Whoa.
Alright,
Yeah,
then
I mean,
we can-
Like a whole day off or something.
Yeah.
we might actually have a chance, okay? Then I won't say much about the story if we actually get a chance, so...
I'm
I
interested
enjoyed
to...
this.
Well, I mean-
I want to know what happens to a child.
I'm interested to know what you guys think of it so far.
Well, all I've really heard is suffering or dying in the forest.
Yeah, you just came in at the last second.
I mean, you got the gist, so...
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so that's the whole book, just suffering and dying in the forest is this.
Yeah, ReiMari got struck by lightning.
Yes.
Yeah. She got struck by lightning, but that's just a footnote.
Yeah, Joey, this is actually a Smash Brothers story, and she was in the middle of a match. Pikachu used a down special, and reality ensued.
Yeah, she got hit by the spike hitbox off stage. It was real bad.
Oh, fuck, wait. So you're saying this all took place during the Kirby match, yeah?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
And one
Harry,
more
like,
game to
find
play in the
some...
background, pick up the DLC.
Yes.
Find some fluff, man. This is breaking my heart.
I'll see
Saying
what
this
I...
isn't flop.
I'll see what I can do.
It was great.
Harry, I swear to God, you're the god of fluff right now. The whole chat you
I don't really think about like what genre a fic is. I just kind of read stuff sometimes and I'm just like, you know, this would be good to read on story time. Let's see if Scrappy wants to do this.
No, it's fine. One day we'll actually get around to reading I'm a non-brony, get me out of Equestria.
I want to be here for that one.
Oh
Okay,
my
here's the thing,
God.
right? That trilogy, not kidding. The first
No.
one is the first book is a shitpost. The second book is actually a fucking novel. It is amazing. The first book I didn't finish, and then I left college, and then a lot of shit happened, and I don't have the laptop, which actually got factory reset, so I don't even have the tab left for the chapter I was on. I was probably on like chapter 30 or something. But like the second one's really. The first one's just a fucking shit version. Reading it a day.
Huh.
Well, that's the
Wow.
good stuff right there.
Well, well
I
then,
get his shit kicked in by Luna.
Oh.
But honestly, it's just a dude, and he gets his shit kicked in by both Celestia and Luna during separate parts of the book. It's fucking mint.
that
Good.
sounds hilarious. Well, I've enjoyed this so far, and I hope we can finish this tomorrow, and maybe we'll read something else if people are around. Probably not, though. Yeah, so thank you all.
We're gonna do 13 episodes of story time, 5-minute breaks between them tomorrow. It's gonna be great.
Oh, let's go.
I wish.
We're gonna start at like 5 a.m. GMT, and we're just gonna grind through our entire backlog of the mega reading.
Yeah, this is the power of the B team.
Stop calling yourselves the B team.
Let's go B team.
You're equal members.
Nah, you see, B
To
team's
be
color
fair,
is
I
gold.
call
We're the
them the
gold
B
team.
To be fair, I've been calling you guys the B team for ages, even though Scrappy's more of the A team than the actual A team. And then there's the A team.
Yo, I want to be the C team then. Can I be C team? C teams. C my favorite.
God no, God no.
Yeah, I'm
God,
not
no.
even like a.
God, no.
C team.
I am only A team in like the specific context of story time. I'm not even officially a member of Steve's brain. Like,
And you're the only person that makes content for them.
yeah, I'm as amused by that as you are.
Yeah, it's funny.
Man,
Still
how do you
wait for
do
a bus.
that? How do you do that?
Look, we could have a whole conversation that would just take like another 15 minutes. I have food downstairs. I can't do this.
We've been holding him captive, and he's been starving for hours.
I think my stomach is
Oh
eating
mate, I
itself right
can't
now.
even eat until my bus shows up, and then I at least get to the McDonald's.
Yummy.
McDonald's.
Look, and
This
when
is
it's
why
like
this is why I'm muted for the end of your chapter. Like,
when it's 1 o'clock, anything tastes good.
Oh yeah.
fucking hell, mate, I have not eaten since like 5.
My condolences. So, yeah, it's Ed, Raideran, and Kate. And even though he's not here right now, Katie and I thank you for your time. It has been a pleasure, and I hope to see you more soon.
Oh, you guys met the legend himself, Cadian.
Yes, he was here in and
For a
out,
couple
but he had
minutes,
to.
He was here for a moment.
He had to
Second in
attend
command of the
something.
882nd for the best part of a year.
Yeah.
Yes, so 3 cast members making their debut in this episode, so that was nice. And yeah, hope to see more of you soon, but I believe that's all I have for today. Thank you all for watching an episode of Storytime with Scrappy and Friends, and we hope to see you very soon.
Bye bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna get
Oh,
food now.
I
y'all.
completely forgot to turn my mic off. Turn my mic back on. Yeah, I was just gonna. I was just gonna say. Yeah, just be prepared for whenever you guys are in the same episode that Tanner is, because.
Oh yeah, that's a trick.
Oh.
Oh
Well-
god, no. Me being in the same episode as an episode that has both me and Tanner. Oh fuck.
Anyways,
Yeah,
yeah.
I try to schedule very selectively.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Anyways, though, these guys basically just summed it up. So yeah, we'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow for the end of this. Also, Force Unleashed is never continuing. Bye.